Hello, this is Nikki in Niagara, coming to you from Niagara Falls, Canada. And it has been a long time, or at least it feels like a long time, since I have done a color and chat. And that is what we are going to do today. And I am pretty excited to be coloring my first picture in April Amber's Chibi Girls Volume 1. And this is the picture that we are going to be doing. Where is it? Oh, there. So this is the picture that we're going to be doing. And I have had a couple of requests from my delightful subbies to do a couple of specific color and chats. So one person asked me if I could show how I use gelatos. So that is what I am going to do. I keep my gelatos in a little container like this, and I have a few extras in here with my, this is mostly my water soluble crayons, but I have a couple of gelatos in there. So in case you don't know what a gelato is, they are by Faber Castell, and they are basically a water soluble crayon inside a, oh, is this going to move up? There we go. Inside a, oh, this one is not wanting to move anywhere. Must be near the end. So, yeah, it's water soluble crayon. It's not exactly like a crayon. This stuff is much softer than you would get in a, you know, Color 2 or any other aquarelle crayon. So it's inside a plastic container like lipstick, and it turns up, and you color with it, or what you're supposed to do with it is color like a crayon, and then use water and a paintbrush and dissolve it and move the pigment all over your page so it turns up looking like watercolors, just like Neo 2's, except for this stuff is softer than the crayons. But that is not how I use it, and I often say in my finished pages that, you know, the sky was done with gelatos and whatever. And so yeah, I was asked to show what I did. So we're going to do this page. I forgot one thing. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I didn't forget it. It's just hiding. So we are going to start with the background, which is divided into sky, and I'm calling this bushes, which behind her here. And so that means that we'll start off with gelatos. So if we start with the sky, because we have a nice big uninterrupted area of sky there, we just have a little bit where we have to come inside here, and a small space there and a little bit in there, whereas the bushes have all sorts of little nooks and crannies to get into. So I will pick a sky color. I think I like the blue in my other container better. Yeah, these are too dark for blues. I mean for sky. This is the blue I usually use for skies. Well, let's hope it doesn't run out on me. So, yeah, we're going to get started. So first thing I'm going to do is color in the sky with the crayon. Like so. You don't have to go right up to the edges. And you don't have to be neat, because we are going to be completely dissolving this into basically a liquid form. So just use a medium pressure unless you're actually wanting it to be faint, then go lightly. There's no reason to go hard, you'll just be wasting your pigment. So how are you doing? I hope that things are going well for you. I hope you're having a good day today, and that will continue for you. If not, then do the best you can today, and maybe tomorrow will be better. Always think that tomorrow is another day, and one day you will have a good day. I have to say that I have actually been doing very well. I've had a couple of weeks where I've been feeling better than I have in a really long time, so it's nice, and I'm enjoying this reprise from my usual pain. So now, what is this? You know what? I need my glasses. I was bound to forget something. They're just right here. Oh. Okay, I got them. Just trying to figure out that little pit around her neck. Is that her scarf? Okay, I believe this bit is her hair. Her scarf ends there, so this little hole right here is sky. Okay, so now the next thing that you need is a solvent. A non-toxic, odorless solvent. The most popular brand is Gamsol. I'm currently using Terpenoid Natural, and when that little bottle is done, I will be using odorless paint thinner by Speedball. So those are a couple of brands. And so we're going to be using this solvent to dissolve the gelato. And you can use this method with your Neocolors and your aquarels, anything. You can even use it with Crayola crayons. With those you do need to push though. So then I use let's put my thing here. I've made a little container for myself, which is like a Zest-It container. This is a loose face powder container. It's Cover FX, and the inside was a kitchen sponge that I got from Dollar Tree or Dollarama, can't remember. Then I traced on the sponge I turned this upside down and I traced around it, cut it out into a circle, put it in there, and then soaked it with my solvent. And this will last for a very long time. It's best to use it in this kind of form. You can just put a piece of sponge into a little container. It doesn't have to fit like this, but it's better than using it directly from the container wet. So we are, oops, I'm off screen. I'd like you to see what I'm doing. So this is my makeup sponge, a little triangle thing. Put this in here, and then we are going to start rubbing. Wow, why did I get that awful mark where I put it down? Oh, you know what? I think that's just from it being wet. It should disappear. If not, I'll go over it. So I'm not going right up to the edges of my picture because this is a big thing that I'm using. So should be able to see that I am leaving, not getting right up to the edges. And that's as far as out there. And basically this is it. This is how I use gelatos. So you see how far that one little thing went? You know, I'm just going to look and see if it's on the other side. Yeah, okay. That's just moisture. It should disappear. So I just dipped it one more time. And this should last. Okay, so then once I've done that, then I take a Q-tip and I roll it on the surface of my solvent, and I am going to use it to work into the edges here and dissolve any place where it didn't get dissolved. This will take a little while here. Now this should be showing like that because it's wet. It's where I placed my pad down. If it doesn't disappear, I'll color over it. You see how far this stuff goes? You don't have to keep dipping. Just one dip and you're good to go. That's why it's not the greatest to actually dip straight into the liquid of your solvent, because then you'll just be wasting it. And if you have this size of solvent, it could last a lifetime. Okay, let's get this little bit in here. A little tricky. Okay. I've gotten a little bit into my picture here. I'm not going to worry about it because I'm going to be coloring with alcohol markers and they color over this stuff right. No problem. So, it was 11 degrees Celsius here today, which is a very nice temperature. The only problem is that we had a thunderstorm, and then after the thunderstorm it has just rained all day. And when it wasn't raining, it was overcast and gray and gloomy. So much for having a nice warm weekend. We've had a very good winter. We've barely been below 0 Celsius. My temperatures are in Celsius, so if you're American, you'll have to get a temperature calculator out. So yeah, when there's little pieces that aren't dissolved, like now I've just noticed over here that I have a bit of a line over here that's not blended in. So going back, Only reason I'm doing this is for looks. And what you get is a completely uniform, flat surface that has, like, feels like paper. It's not sticky, it's not oily, it doesn't have any texture. It's just, you can't tell the difference. I can't tell where it is and where the paper is just by feel. Okay, so I'm not liking that. It's worrying me. It's still wet though. Alright, I won't worry about it. Oh. Yeah, so since I've been feeling pretty good, I've been getting a few things done that I haven't been able to do for a long time. Oh, I am in a little bit of pain right now, actually, my back, but I keep trying to get myself comfortable. One of these days I'm going to buy myself a nice office chair, but the kind I want is the expensive kind. I'd like to have like an executive's chair. Okay, so that's the sky done, and I'm just going to ignore that patch there and let it dry. So, why this green is out. Did I pick it? Let's see. I think that's the green I usually use. Let's see if I can find a different green to use this time. So, we have a piece of paper for trying it out. Colors here, yeah, I do. Over here. Reach. Okay, so that's a bit too mint. This one's gonna be too dark. Do I have leaves? Yeah, I've got leaves, so I don't want the background to be darker. This one looks like it's olive. They do have names on the lids, but I've had these for so long that you can't really read them. Oh, that's a nice. That's nice, like forest green. That could work. Be different for me. So put these back. Haven't got any greens in here. Got one. Let's see what this looks like. Now that's a bit too olive. And let's compare all those with the one that I usually use. Okay, I think that's going to be a good choice. Okay, so this I'm going to have to go a bit slower doing down here because we got some nooks and crannies to get into, but first I'm going to color it. Yes, I was talking about getting some things done, like nothing too major, just, you know, tidying up and sorting things out and that sort of thing. But you know, and I'm taking care of my back when I do it because like I say, my back is hurting now, but and that's because I've been doing so much activity. I just have to rest now. The important thing when, well, I mean, like I have a lot more things wrong with me than fibromyalgia, but it's, you know, my back disables me. but it's my fibro that makes me tired all the time. And the thing to remember with that is to listen to your body, and when you're tired, rest. But so what I was doing was carrying a chair. Well, not carrying a chair. I won't do that. But dragging a chair behind me to wherever I was going to be stationed while I was doing my tidying or my sorting or whatever. And I'd stand up and do what I needed to do, and then when my back was starting to hurt, I would sit down and take a rest. And once I felt like I could do it again, I got back up and started doing my task. Uh-oh, did I go under her coat? No, I haven't. Started doing my task again, and just kept doing that. Sitting down, standing up, sitting down, until I got to a point where I was sitting longer than I was standing. And then I knew I had enough. Okay, so now I'm going to have to be careful, because I got to go into the little tiny parts, and you just need to put a little dab. I guess I should get up a little bit more, like that. We don't need this. Just a little dab in the part there. And okay, and now figuring out where her coat and stuff ends. Alright, so that's like the bikini that she's wearing, or her underwear, her leg, right down there, in here, inside the bow and arrow, here also, and okay, I think I got it all. No, it still feels wet. Okay, so with this one, I am not going to go in so heavy. There we go. There, I don't have a mark at all now. Because there I just plopped my thing down. And that's the solvent we're seeing with the black paper showing through. So it looks dirty. So I'm only going to be able to use this for a bit, because I don't want to get too much onto my picture. Now I don't go into the little spaces. The only thing with doing this method is that you can't blend it, or not well. I tried once and wasn't liking my results and never tried again, so if you want to practice and trying with that, you can, or you can just take my word for it. So yeah, this is a nice color for well, it's not actually grass, it's a bush that's behind her. So I'll have to remember that, because I haven't used that one for grass. Okay, so now I'm going to take the same Q-tip that I was using before and flip it over and use the other end and dip into my solvent. So you can see how cost effective it is to do this. These solvents are very cheap in the United States. They're quite a bit more expensive here in Canada, but still they last like a very long time. I couldn't tell you how long I've had this tiny bottle. It's like 8 ounces. Well, 4 fluid ounces. I can't tell you how long I've had that. It's a year. It's got to be a year. Or more. Might even be 2 years. I don't use it every day, but I'm not stingy with it. I use it whenever I want to. And this is a really quick way. Now I keep dipping a bit more here because I'm getting into the surface, like right up to the edges here, and I need it to be a little bit more moist. But I think you get it. Very simple, and it makes a really nice background. Like if you want a cohesive, flat layer of color. You could go in with pencils after this because this has no texture. You know, if you color with pencils and do that kind of thing. I use pencils sometimes, but I'm not a shader and layerer. I'm a straight colorer. I should say colorist. That's what everybody says, isn't it? It's a lot easier than saying colorer. Colorer, isn't it? Colorer. So, the week after New Year's, we had a nice time because my son, who lives about an hour and a half away from us, couldn't come down until after New Year's. So we decided, you know, hey, why don't we come down there for a change? So that's what we did, and you know, they just live in a small apartment, so we rented a hotel for the night, and stayed there for 2 days, 1 night, and my husband and I slept at the hotel, and our 19-year-old spent the night at his brother's house, or apartment, I should say, and they had a blast. I've told you before that my 19-year-old is autistic, and well, his brother is his best friend. He worships him to a degree. I don't really like to use the word worship in that context, but it explains the way he feels about him. And, you know, with him living so far away, he doesn't get to see him all that often, so very special time for him, getting to spend the night there. And, you know, they stayed up late, they played games, and, my son had the virtual reality thing, and so he had my youngest playing that, and I'll definitely need more color there. Hardly, is this the one I was using? That's not the same one. It looks darker. Oh no. What did I do with it? No, it's not that one. It can't be. It's gotta be this one. No, it's not, because it's not pushed up. No, that's not it. That's the one I usually use. Is it this one? No, definitely not. Well, it's got to be that one. Maybe it's just looking darker because I have rubbed it. Okay, yeah, this is the right one. Gave me a scare there. I think there's going to be a little bit of shading in here. Because I did get a drop of the wrong color in here. You know, that actually might be the way to shade when doing this, is to mix colors together. No, it's kind of separating and staying on its own a little bit. That's different. Oh, I'm leaning the wrong way on my chair. It's making my thigh hurt. Oh dear. Okay. There. So we had a nice time. It's the first time that we've been to a hotel since like a very long time. It's just not something that we do. So the last time we were in a hotel was when we went to Michael Bublé concert in London, Ontario. Couldn't even say how long ago that was. 3, 4 years ago. So I've been to 2 Michael Bublé concerts. They were both before his son got hurt. I was like, I had such a crush on him. It was funny. But my husband was a dear for taking me. Okay, that's looking good. And that's almost gone up at the top there. And it's showing up darker on screen, but it's going away. I don't want a color on top of it while it's still moist. Yeah, you can still see it on the other side because the stuff doesn't stain. So like you can use home remedies for solvent, like baby oil, Vaseline, but both of those will leave an oily residue on your page, which will never go away. And yeah, it's just not as nice of a, it's not as nice of a dissolving. They can also leave stains. But most of oil they'll leave the oily texture or feel. Whew, my hand's getting tired. That's the one thing about doing this. rubbing with a, I think I need a new Q-tip. There we go. There we go. I don't have to rub so hard. Some people use, what are they called? Tortillons and stumps. They're like tight paper rolled up into a tool that artists use, and you can dip those in your stuff. But I find it takes an awful lot of work to use those than it does the cotton bud, because the bud is softer and just soaks the stuff. Okay. I don't know what to do up there. No, it's definitely wet. Well, I wreck it. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do to it. We'll just have to stay like that. And hopefully it will disappear, because it is still moist on the back. Okay, so that's the background, and that is how I use Gelatos. You could do your whole picture that way too. Like, we could do her hair. You know what? Why don't we? Let's do her hair. If I've got a good hair color. Oh, the reason I thought that is because she's got so much hair. Oh, this is kind of like a yellow ochre color. I wonder how that'll work. That's not bad. What else have I got? I've got bright red. I like red hair, but I'm not going to use bright red. Okay, and the other thing I have is gold and dark brown. You can get metallic ones, and I think I have a few, but they're not very metallic-y. You can rub these with your fingers. Now, see, this is the gold. You know, I mean, it's a little bit of a shine, but it's not sparkly or anything. And what about dark brown? Yeah, it's not going to be that dark. Oh, choices, choices. I feel like my chibis have to be blonde or red. Never used a dark brown. Oh, let's go for it. Oh, I can't get this one to turn. There we go. That was weird. I had to turn it the wrong side, the wrong way, to get it to come up the right way. Okay, so now I'm going to be really careful because I don't want to get any of this on the blue. So, don't go past the lines. everything's back to normal now after the holidays. My 19-year-old is back to going to adult education to upgrade himself so that he can take an apprentice course at community college or something like that. He doesn't really know what he wants yet, but he needs to do that. So it's basically it's a morning. He goes from like 8:15 to 12:45 or something like that in the mornings. We have a morning session and an afternoon session. We thought the morning one would be best for him, so he'd have something to get up for in the mornings. And then he spends his afternoons volunteering at the, we call it Project Share, but it's our version of the food bank. And I continue on doing whatever it is I do. Sometimes I feel so useless because I don't have a thing I do. You know, I was listening to Anne at A Colorful Life. Not this morning, it might have been yesterday morning or sometime yesterday. No, now it's going the wrong way. Okay. And, she was saying a whole bunch of stuff which was really relevant. But, here, another thing you can do if you, like, really want to save is, so far I've been lucky and had everything to hand, but no, I don't have any scissors. But you can take this and just cut off the part that's got color on it, and then you can use it again. You can do that about once. After that, it's too small. But, yeah, so I need to use a new one. Okay, so yeah, she was talking about her channel and, you know, the things that she's learned and why she did it, and, you know, learning about yourself and all that kind of thing. And I really took to heart when she said about her channel basically about a creator's channel is to do what you love. You know, I mean, I'm saying what I got out of her. I'm not saying her words. I can't remember exactly what she said, but this is what I got out of it, is to do what you love. Make sure you like what you're doing. Don't do something just because it's what is expected of you or it's what everybody else is doing. And, you know, to think about it and make your channel your own first, and then start thinking about your audience. Because, I mean, you know, when you ask people, you know, well, you know, questions about your channel, you know, should I do this or should I do that? A lot of people, you know, I mean, they're trying to be encouraging, and they say, you know, well, do what you want to do. And, you know, that's nice, but it's not really helpful because, you know, there's certain things you have to do to get the hits and the watching time and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go down there with this. So you always have to keep your audience in mind, but I mean, don't dread doing something. And you know, you know, throughout my adult life, I've used the internet to make money. I've expressed my hobbies in some kind of format, you know. I mean, way back to the, you know, the dinosaur days of the internet. Heck, I was making money off of the internet when all it was bulletin boards. But, yeah, no, I'm not making money off of the internet right now, but I am making a little bit of money. And I'll be, when I do my haul for this end of this month, I have something really nice to share with you that I'm looking forward to. So that can be something for you guys to think about. I'm not saying a word, not until my haul. Okay, so this little bit here, look, that's almost completely dissolved now. Though I look up on the camera and you can definitely see the spot. It's not showing like that in real life. Okay, anywhere else? I want to get up to that edge. So yeah, that ended up being like a nice light brown, didn't it? So when you do this, you're definitely going to get a light shade. And I think you need to go over the grass just a little bit more. It's a little, there's some around here that's not dissolved, so I'll work on that later. So there is her hair, and oh boy, we've been 47 minutes. So I like to keep them under an hour, because at 50 minutes, unless I've got a lot of stuff going on, and I know I'm going to be like an hour and a half. But my camera, it cuts the file off and starts a new one at 60 minutes. So, well, at 59 minutes and 59 seconds, it clicks over to a second file. So I don't want it to do that for, you know, a minute or two. So let's do the skin, and then we will call it quits. Now, for skin, I pretty much always use a chameleon because I love them. I bought myself a set of skin tones in the chameleons, and I just use them straight, but they are great for using for skin tones because they don't streak. So we're using the color sand. This needs a brush changing on it. I've had it a long time because it took me a while to learn how to use these properly, but you have to be very, very gentle with the Japanese tip. And they're beautiful to work with when you're using them properly. Okay, now I get the ears. Always pay attention to the ears because so many times in the past. I would be finished my skin, and I'd be working on my picture, and you know, I could be almost done my picture, and all of a sudden I would notice an ear that I didn't do. So now I always stop and look for those ears. Okay, now let's look for all body parts. Neck, showing a little bit right there. And arms, all the way down to the hands. Pure skin. Okay, that's easy enough. And no, that one doesn't have one of these on it. Okay, this one has a, oh, I see. And she's got a bustier on there. And this one goes to there. I wonder if that one does have a glove. I think it might. So you know what I'm going to do? I want to do those a different color, but because I can go over this color easily. But if I do this one with a base of this color too, they'll show up the same colors. So I'll be doing those a different color. Okay, so now legs. Okay, so she's got a boot on too. So yeah, I'm just going to finish up these legs here. Oh. Now, is that her foot or part of her shoe? I don't know. I mean, who knows what a little chibi creature out in the wild wears on her feet. That one's definitely looking like a shoe, so we'll keep that one as a shoe. Okay, so I think I've done all my parts. So it won't take me long to finish this, that's for sure. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you had a good time. I hope you found the way I use gelatos interesting, and I've got a little bit more work to do on blending in that stuff, and then I'll work on the rest of what I've got left. And if you'd like to see the finished picture, then join me over on Instagram, and that is where I post all my finished pictures. So in the meantime, until next time, bye bye.